All right, and welcome back to the ESL Open Cup Americas. We got SOO versus Byun, a best of 3. This is gonna be good as... Oh, man. How else? How else would you want to start it off, huh? Huh? Come on, Byun, go over the proxy 2 racks, top right-hand corner is the aforementioned Shopify Rebellion Terran. And in the bottom left-ish corner, it is, of course, the Quamdom Freaks, SOO. All right. Now, this is an interesting way to start off the game. Unfortunately, this Overlord is in the perfect scouting path to see this proxy, unless, of course, SOO decides to move it. I don't see that happening anytime soon, though. The Overlord is not being selected. And this could go very, very badly for Byun. As the barracks is seen, SOO should pull back the Overlord just as it sees it. Oh. I think Byun might have been able to see the Overlord from there. I'm not quite sure. But already this is going to be a pretty bad start for the Terran. This means that, yeah, drones are going to be pulled by SOO. He's going to be able to try and slow down these barracks at the very least. Now, this is a good position for Byun because you have a lot of kind of dead space behind these barracks that you can micro your SCVs back into. That makes it very, very hard for the drones to try and find any damage. And you can see here Byun trying to get his SCV into that space. Has to be so careful as the first barracks is going to finish. And this SCV should be able to complete the second barracks as well without an issue. But even with that being said, SOO has his pool already on the way. And so even if bunkers do end up going up, ooh, that SCV gets so low. As this Marine is behind the barracks, one SCV does go down, actually. And I think this should mean that we're not going to see the bunkers come up. This will just be Marines trying to pressure for Byun. And that's a pretty good start for SOO. You're going to be very, very happy about this opening and about how this is likely going to turn out. Six lings and 2 queens on the way. The gas is already down back at home for Byun, so he will be getting into his factory right about now. As the Marines here go up the ramp, and they're going to try and see how much damage they can find. Now, realistically, this should not get any drone damage done. With the 6 lings out, they should be able to delay the Marines long enough for the queens to pop out. And then from there, I don't even think SOO is actually going to need a spine crawler. Of course, if you amass a really heavy amount of Marines, they can actually just stutter step on top of queens. But at this point, Byun does not have the numbers to, and so we're just going to see the stands kind of go down. Creep Trooper doesn't go down at the top of the ramp. It was just an immediate inject there from SOO. But he's going to be able to push the Marines back and overall not take that much damage from them. Now, he did produce 12 lings, which is a bit heavy. Means that SOO's worker count is not the healthiest right now. It's currently sitting 22 to 22. Byun is actually even with him and is starting on his own natural command center. As the barracks are lifted off, they're going to be floated in their respective directions. One to scout, one to go back home. And overall, Data C, it is going to be a pretty normal game here, at least at the start, as the crab beetle here at the ocean floor says hi and then disappears out of view forever. But yeah, we can talk about these players. Great, wonderful. All right, so SOO and Byun, man. These two have actually had some really intense series in the past few months. Their GSL series that they ended up playing to qualify for the round of, I believe it was round of 12, was one of the most intense Terran versus Zergs that I've seen. And then in other events as well, we've seen them trade back and forth. We've seen SOO have dominant performances going 3-0 in a best of 5. And then Byun, respectively, also getting like a 3-1 or a 3-0 against SOO. And then sometimes these games go to 5. It is a very, very close matchup. And I actually would love to look at the actual win rate of these two. And in terms of how often, like, what is the general consensus of who wins more often than not? Because it's really close. It's really, really close. So we're gonna try and figure that out. Let's see if we can do that. As Liberator's on the way, a single Viking was produced here to help clean up some Overlords. But altogether, actually, I don't think any Overlords were across the map. So Byun's not going to be finding that much value from this Viking, aside from just pushing back Overlords and make sure that SOO doesn't have any across the map. Now, the thing is, SOO in the past has had a problem with actually re-spreading Overlords and getting these Overlords into a position where they are in, or at least getting overlords into good position. So usually for SOO, he'll have his first overlord across the map, but then after that one overlord that is across the map, all of his others are in very conservative positions. He doesn't even have overlords out by these pillars, doesn't have any in the dead airspace. And so the Viking does get sniped, which means that SOO can actually respread his overlords to get a bit more vision control out on the map, as Byun just trying to poke around right now with these Hellions. Armory is going down, and it looks like this is going to be a Hellbat timing attack here from Byun, who's just pulling out all of your basics right now. He says, all right, we're going to go for it. Hellbat timing attack. We're going to go for Marines. You know, after the 2 racks, this is what Byun does when he doesn't want to play any specific build. And it's even going to be Cloak Banshee as well. This is the whole kitchen sink of timing attacks and early aggression here from Byun, as now he's going to press on to creep, get rid of the active creep tumors. Does have the armory done, but doesn't want to show that morph just yet, as the Marines are now showing up. The morph is going to come through, and what are the units available here for SOO? He does already have 5 Banelings and 18 Zerglings, as 12 more are on the way. The Baneling's going to push forward. A great move there from Byun. Is going to absorb all of the Baneling fire, but all of his units are already so low on health. I don't think he can continue to push this location. 2 drones do go down there to the Liberator now. Byun pushing forward. The Queens are just stuck a little bit out of position, as the Hellbat's going to back up to help protect the Marines. The Queens, with their transfusions, are good, as another Liberator siege is going to be able to get a few more drones, just 2 more falling down. As 4 in total fall, the Liberator should be able to find its way out. And overall, it has been pretty decent damage here for Byun. Now, though, it's the Cloak Banshee follow-up as well. On top of all of this, it's going to try and find even more damage, because right now, this damage has been manageable for SOO. He's still at 71 workers on these 3 bases. He's working on +1/+1 on Baneling speed. And so Byun ideally wants to find a little bit more damage in this matchup. He wants to find a little bit more success with this opening to really make it worthwhile. The Liberator still being alive, of course, is very, very nice, but it's low on health, and so most likely it will get 1 siege, but if the Queens are brought over immediately, then yeah, it won't even get a shot off. Liberators sniped. Now Hellions are going to push onto this 4th base, and they're just going to clean up all the creep around it to make sure that SOO has to respread it as the Banshee's making its way on in. And look at this, there's no Spore Crawler here for SOO just yet. It finally will go up. Only 2 more drones falling as the Banshee has to leave. And overall 6 drones for completely mitigating this early pressure. Also forcing a lift off on this 3rd. I mean, I really don't think SOO is going to be in a bad position right now. He's pretty happy with how this is so far turning out. The Baneling's rolling their way on back. Banshee is going to find itself a kill. This is, I believe, the 2nd Banshee. Yeah. First one's still sharking around in the main, but overall, only 3 Banshee kills, or only 3 worker kills for the 2 Banshees committed is not that good, as we now... +1 vehicle weapons actually start up with the +1/+1 for the infantry of Byun. He's going to be getting into a very, very heavy tank count. It's immediately into Hydras here from SOO. I mean, this feels like a bit of a prediction play for Byun, where he says, listen, I know that SOO really, really likes his Ling Bane, and he's saying, listen, on Data C, this map is just really good for tanks. You have so much high ground to play around with at your 3rd, even into your 4th. The tank positions are really good on the defense. And so Byun's just going to be heading straight into that with these upgrades, trying to get up as efficient of an army as he can. Because at the same time, you have SOO working on his +2/+2. And so you really can't fall behind right now as Byun is going to see these rocks destroyed. Should be able to clean up all the creep tumors there that were placed out. The Queen's quickly going to be able to respread them, as the 1/1 is now going to finish up for the bio of Byun as he dives back on in. The Queens are going to be able to push those Hellions away. Continued tank production here for Byun. Does have a decently sized army. A lot of Marines. They have stim. Combat shield's not quite done just yet. And of course, we're going to see these tanks start to siege on up. SOO is approaching maxed out. More Hydras being added on. The Groove Spines for that +1 range, of course, is the prioritized upgrade here on defense, just because it allows your Hydras to be that much more efficient with your trades in, you know, when your opponent especially is pushing into you. And muscular augments to follow will allow for that additional movement speed to get these Hydras out on the map. Infestation Pit on the way for SOO, and I gotta say, I am liking how he is handling this game so far. Has actually got spores in every base, which is lovely to see, because sometimes we don't get that from SOO. But this time is crossing his T's, dotting his I's, Double drop is going to be sent out here for Byun, but you're looking at a maxed out Zerg, and SOO, he's going to prepare for a push here as Byun is trying to get onto the creep. He's going to start to try and find some damage, but you have to be so careful because if SOO is able to collapse on this, look how many Lings there are. I mean, this Zerg army is going to just try and absolutely roll over the Terran as the wall is going to be under fire. No Banelings there to bust it open, but SOO just doesn't care. He's going to go for it. The double drop in the back has not found its way into SOO's main. He's going to force a liftoff. SCV kills are going to come through. A lot of Marines are going to go down as the Banelings roll on forward. 8 SCVs fall. Now the Hydras are going to have to retreat, but SOO has found the damage. The double drop in the main is going to snipe the spawning pool. 44 Lings get into the production tab, though, before the spawning pool goes down. As now the base is being focused down. Lings streaming back to try and save the layer, as it should be just enough to stop this drop from finding any more damage. Is he pushing again onto creep? This is so greedy here from Beyond 16. Banelings on the way. As, I mean, SOO just gonna commit on. He doesn't even have Banes with this, but he snipes the Banshee, gets on top of the tanks, and he's gonna be able to clean up what Byun has. Is there any tanks back at home? It does not look like it. There's a singular tank that was going to be sent out to protect the 4th base, as Byun is going to try and defend this the best he can. His drop has made its way back inside the main. He's going to look to snipe off that layer and a few more drones, but at the same time, Byun is losing absolutely everything. The building factory has to be canceled. And SOO now, with just a few Queens and a few Hydras, is going to be able to hold the main, the +1 range, doing the work that he needs, and now Byun is in a world of trouble. 50 more Zerglings on this remax as the spawning pool has finished. The hive is being built to get some more HP onto this damaged layer. As you can see right now is +2 versus +2. You have the inventory of Byun sitting with his upgrades, but I mean, 141 supply to 199 is just looking so dire. As, oh, the double medevacs are scouted. Byun, this is disastrous. SOO just knows that there's not a lot of army left here at the 3rd base, so he's gonna dive in once again, and he's just gonna try and find more damage. He's trying to get on top of the whole army, and it doesn't matter how well you can stutter step back as Byun. There's just too much Zerg here, and SOO is gonna roll over Byun. GG. Alright, and welcome to Stargazers for map number 2 in the top left-hand corner from Shopify Rebellion. It is Byun. And up 1-0 from the Kwangdong Freaks, he is SOO. And Stargazers is certainly a strange map, as we have these little mineral patches stopping the players from taking these initial pocket expansions, but also this small ramp that can be mined out in excuse me, in order to get into the base. I heard a dog and I was so confused. And so we have these wonderful little whirlpools here. Look at this, just, or not whirlpools, but pools. Gorgeous. But also just the layout of the map, very reminiscent to something like a Blackburn, just kind of turned upside down. With more of a, I would say, yeah, very much Blackburn-esque. You do have a middle platform here instead of 2 separate on each side. So this map is split a little bit more evenly down the center, and this is the contentious gold base all the way down here that players can take. We've seen this in DreamHack Valencia be the difference maker in games between, I believe it was Creator and Maru, actually, where Creator took this base very early on as a ninja expansion, and it allowed him to win that game. So this is a very cool map. It's very dynamic. You have a lot of high ground here from your natural base all the way covering your 3rd and potentially your 4th. Of course, for Terran, that's a bit nicer. You can put tanks there. You can set up a defensive line. You know, Maru would have a field day on this map with mech. If we've seen anything from the previous few weeks of StarCraft, it's that Maru likes his mech. He's quite good at it. So Overlords are going to be scouting out. No proxies this game. It's just going to be standard. Now, I did look up the actual map score between Byun and SOO, between games. And Byun does have the advantage. Byun is actually currently sitting at a 52% win rate over SOO. is, yeah, 2%. It's really close. These two players are almost go 50-50. Their total score, I believe, is 34-37 in favor of Byun, which is, yeah, which is really good. Of course, Byun's form versus Zerg, I think, is a bit better than SOO's form versus Terran. SOO is still definitely finding his stride. And of course, there always comes the question of when do you say, well, you know, has a player reached their, you know, the maximum form they can reach after coming back and now has to improve, versus are they still kind of feeling their way back into how they want to play out how they want to play their style on the new, you know, in the new patch, units and all that. And so I definitely think that we're getting there with SOO. He's definitely been back long enough that we are expecting, I think, to see him start to really kind of hit his stride. And so we're gonna have to see if that does happen anytime soon, as Byun is gonna be going for the 2-1-1. Starport going down immediately with the reactor onto the factory. Stimpack started up. So this is a very, very standard build that we would see from Byun. I mean, this is his bread and butter. This is what Byun does. He does the 2-1. He was the player. I mean, he was really, really good with this build for the longest time. I think Maru kind of started to take over the mantle of kind of using it to great effect. But that definitely does not stop. It does not take away from just how good Byun is with the opening. As we see the star, the namesake of the map here at the center. SOO has taken the Zenlaga watchtower at the top. It does, I believe, just barely not give you enough information. Does it see the gas geyser there, actually? Wait, I believe, yeah, I believe the Zenlaga tower is close enough to see this gas geyser. And so it does actually let you know if your opponent has taken the pocket expansion, which is a pretty good information to have for both players. As SOO is just going to send out his scouting links, check out these third base timings. And SOO, I think, surprisingly does not have a ton of information on what this build is for Byun. If you're looking at it, it is completely dark. There is not a lot of info on what this build is. So SOO just has to prepare as if this is going to be an aggressive build. And that's kind of the danger of not being able to scout with your first Overlord, is that you have to play this safe. And right now, I think SOO is not really doing that. He has 11 Zerglings. Ideally, right now, I think you have 24 at the least, as this 2-1 is coming across the map. And we're already going to see a few lings picked off here. An active creep tumor is going to get sniped as the medevacs are coming to join. The fourth base has not been placed down, so Byun is not having to worry about trying to snipe that. But we should see a scan come down to try and snipe the creep tumors. No, it's just a stim in. Immediately, a queen is going to get focused down, but the transfusions are good. There are a lot of queens here for SOO. Currently sitting at 8 is going to force the pick off, or the pick up, as Byun heads toward the main. Decides to peel away and is just going to replant here to try and once again probably push back this creep, as a third drop is being loaded up. And this is the Maru build with the 2-1, where you have the third medevac, the Widowmine, and the Marines. Maru used this so much for, I mean, a good stint of time, and was killing every single Zerg with this build. Byun is loaded up. He's now in the, I mean, kind of the pocket expansion of his opponent. Has a Widowmine now. This push is placing down his third base in his own pocket. Will mine out this mineral field when the time comes. Spinning nest on the way. Byun now going to stim on up. Widowmine will be burrowed. Is there an armory out? No, okay, does not have cloak. Byun just going to go right on in. Is going to try and unburrow the Widowmine. The stim positioning is so good. As Byun, that was just beautiful micro. The Widowmine gets some good damage. He's going to start to find drone kills as 8 drones are going to go down. Byun now focus fires on the Banelings, and this is just gorgeous from Byun. As the unburrow on the Widowmine means that SOO just has so many Zerglings that are not attacking anything for so long. The Marines are able to survive. Byun's still fighting this. He's still looking for more damage. He snipes 10 drones, snipes the Extractor, and an Overlord is going to pick on up. Gets out with the full medevacs. And oh my, was that very, very efficient here for the Terran. Now he is going to scout out the fully saturated third base. He's just going to have to retreat to this dead airspace and settle with that +1 started up here for Byun. Look at those trades. It is just so, so efficient for Byun with this 2-1-1. Is now going to try and drop in behind the mineral lines, but the good shadowing there with the Zerglings. +1 started up here for SOO. Spire on the way. This is kind of SOO's, I think, standard way of playing TVZ right now, is with the Spire, with the Mutas, proxy, or the, sorry, pocket expansion here for Byun has finally been planted. He's going to start saturating that base. Currently sitting at 63 workers. Another round of units are going to make their way on out here for Byun. Can start to work on that double prong pressure. He's up right now, 20 supply over his opponent. With his upgrades coming in first, this is going to start to look very, very bad for SOO. If he's not able to find some convincing fights, then it's very, very plausible that Byun is just going to start to snowball this game, especially with the armory coming through. You're going to have the cloaked widow mines. And here we go, Byun setting up this double-pronged attack. There are a lot of queens here, but you can tell the energy is concentrated on just a few of them. If Byun can snipe them down, this game can start to, or this hold can start to look very hard as the queens are pulled away. Byun just going to stim on in. Queens are going to get sniped, and now the base will be under fire. As some drones are going to go down, the lings have to be brought on over. The medevacs are getting focused here, so Byun has to be careful. We'll just get out with one medevac full of Marines. Doesn't move in the other group at the same time. They're just going to work on cleaning up his active creep tumors. His Overseer is going to be brought over to clean up this Widow Mine. +2/+2 started for Byun, and the 11 mutas are on the way for SOO. There are missile turrets right now, but I think the only place it is in the pocket expansion. The natural and the main are completely exposed. Oh, Banelings are just, they do not find the good connections. As a few of them just try and roll forward. The Widow Mine shots are baited, though, and so that means that Byun is going to have to pick on up. Can't afford to continue to fight. This means that SOO now has the time to get out his mutas. He's going to clean up a drop with them. So Byun does have the information that mutas are out on the map. No longer is an unknown entity for the Terran player. As more Widow Mines in production, this quadruple drop is going to sneak its way across the map. SOO hasn't replanted vision here. And again, this is an issue that SOO has had in the past, where he does not have his overlords spread out. He does not have any vision in this dead airspace on maps. And so now suddenly, unbeknownst to SOO, there's 4 medevacs full of units in his main. He's going to have to retreat all of his units back, and this base just might go down. I think Byun can just focus it. Doesn't at first, but the Widow Mines burrow. The Widow Mine shots are dragged decently well, but that one is massive! As Byun gets so many Banelings, he's gonna unload and fight the Mutalisks. And oh my, Byun. He is just making this work, and SOO, a massive error there, is gonna allow Byun to find this opening. He's now moving all of his units down onto the bottom side of this map to clear up creep and also pressure the 4th base once again, while still keeping this drop just tucked away here. And again, SOO, he has no vision of it. He's going to keep his units here just because he knows that that's the most likely thing that has happened, is that Byun is just keeping his units there. But now they're just going to press forward. Now it is 1-1 versus 1-1, so Byun has to be careful sniping off the Baneling. He's going to get all of them. Byun pulls back on the other side of the map. 2-2 finishing up here for the Terran. Just 10 more seconds on it. Sorry, 15 more seconds on it. As SOO is just trying to hold on right now. He has a 5th base established versus the 3 bases of Byun, who right now is working with these 8 barracks. I mean, this is pretty much it. It's not an all-in, but this is, you know, this is 8 racks. This is Byun saying, listen, this is my key. I'm going to try and kill you with this pressure. And if SOO can't properly set up a surround, if SOO can't set up anything, I mean, those are some good Baneling connections, but they're not good enough. You hit it on mostly Marauders. And so while you weaken them, you don't really have a follow-up. SOO needs to get something set up here. Is so much bio, 128 army supply of it, as finally that drop is cleaned up. SOO uses the Mutalisks to dispatch them, but still SOO, he needs something more. He needs to find the engagement of a lifetime here to try and clean up Byun's army, to try and stop this pressure. The 4th base has been landed. Byun has bought enough time and done enough damage to get that 4th base. So just look at these resources lost as retreating into the Widow Mine. The shots finally connected. The Marauders absorbed so many of the Banelings. A few more drags on the Widow Mine shots are good. As SOO's going to look for the re-engage. He knows this position is awkward. The Banelings trying to roll on forward. They're going to start to find some success, as SOO is going to get a supply lead. And the Mutas should be able to clean up the rest of this army, as SOO just barely has done it and holds on for now. But this drop at the bottom side is going to clear out the 4th base. The hatchery is just going to go down. The medevacs will get cleaned up, however. And these units are going to be forfeit, as Byun is losing so much right now. SOO, of course, has this 5th up. is mining from it so it can continue to produce. What's the queen count looking at, though? It's only 5 queens here. They need to be spread around at every single base for SOO just to have his injects on time. But he's started to fight his way back into this game. It's Byun. Orbital mines being placed down. The 4th base is saturated. 3-3 on the way, and Thor's now in production. And once Byun gets a 2 upgrade or a 4 upgrade advantage, he's already working with 2. He has +2/+2 versus the +1 on all of SOO's units, aside from, missile attacks, which he doesn't need. But this game's going to start to get very, very hard if SOO is not able to catch up on the upgrades. Because this Ling Bane, it's meant to swarm. It's meant to fight straight on with Byun's army. But down 4 upgrades, there's no way that you fight Byun's army head on. And a few Lings dispatched all the retargeting. Byun! He's just so good with it. As that shot is going to weaken up a lot of the Marines, Byun is just going to have to try and get on out. Another burrow is going to focus onto the Banelings. The connections are decent enough, but you also have a drop in the main at the same time. As Byun is clearing up as much as possible, forces a drone pull. SOO is holding on, but it is not enough right now just to hold on, because Byun is continuing to grow, is continuing to add on more and more units. And now that Thors are in the mix, suddenly the Mutas are not going to be that catch-all for cleaning up these drops, for cleaning up the tail end of these fights when it's just kind of the Marauders left, and the Marines have been blown up by the Banelings. But look at this circling run by here by SOO. He is still down in supply, though, and has to be so careful. It is 3-3 bio now available here for Byun. SOO, you just can't dive in. As Byun just pushes his head, so many Marauders. The circling run by finds his way on top of a lot of these units, but you just see the 3-3 keeps them alive for so long. SOO can't roll in on top of the army, as the split backs are just good enough for Byun. He does not care. He just needs to not take a ton of damage, and that is what he does so well. GG, Byun ties us up. And Byun, look at this. Forward wall is going to go down, and how often do you see it? But of course, this is Moondance, so a forward wall is pretty viable because you have that pocket base behind your natural. It does not have full mineral patches, but as long as you're able to defend, you're going to get 2.5 bases worth of economy very quickly as the Terran here, and I like this choice here from Byun. There's not a lot of maps where I think the forward wall is viable. Let me tell you, this is one of them. This is one of them. As second barracks is going to be placed down even. This is, ooh. Oh, interesting. Is Byun? Okay, this isn't for double Reaper, I don't believe, because you only have 2 SCVs right now mining gas. Okay, third one's put on. This actually might be for Byun to go double Reaper production. Oh, Byun! Oh, I love it. 3 racks Reaper from his base. I mean, let me tell you. Let me take you on a trip back down memory lane when Byun won the World Championships, when Byun was just doing 3 racks Reaper, when Byun was on the top of the world. This was a build order that Byun would do, where he would go 3 racks Reaper from his base, so the Zerg would scout out as late as possible. And you would still have the Reapers being able to go across the map. Now, this was a build that back when Maru was still, it was still good, but he wasn't the best Terran in the world, tried to copy. I remember there was a certain GSL where the only build that Maru prepared was 3 racks Reaper, and he just could not make it work like Byun did. Now, this is such a cool build to pull out, because of course, SOO is looking at this and he'll say, oh, it's 2 racks Reaper. Okay, I'll just get a few Lings, but there's a 3rd barracks that's being added on here, and that does just mean that this is even more deadly than you might expect as the Zerg, and already you're going to see a Zergling go down. This is not a good start here for SOO, losing a Zergling this early. Normally, it's like, you lose a Zergling, whatever. That's not the case. This is very important to keep them alive. A second one is going to fall. Byun, he knows that this micro is very important to try and snowball this early game. Now that a queen is out, have to be a little bit more careful. Gonna try and snipe some drones now. Ooh, KD8 charge to keep the queen away. More and more Reapers are going to be coming across the map. 8 more Lings on the way here for SOO. Metabolic boost also is going to be started up as the Reapers, you just loop around, snipe off the creep tumor. You lose a Reaper for it, but it's a good snipe so far for Byun. It's going to be 4 Reapers now meeting up. Going to be a total of 7 produced before I think Byun starts to transition out here. We'll have to see if he does put add-ons onto these barracks. As the Reapers dive on in, they don't manage to find too much damage just yet. A single drone has been sniped. So Byun's just going to look for the health to regen up. Doesn't want to commit too far in, especially with Metabolic Boost finishing up. Of course, that timing, it does finish right around 3:30. If your Reaper's still across the map, 3:30, most likely it's going to get sniped here by the Speedlings. And so Byun is just staying aware of that. Right now working on his natural command center and an engineering bay as well. As Byun has to be careful going up there. Ooh, I love this here by Byun. Sends just a few Reapers up at once. Managed to get a lot of good trades there. And Byun does need to find good trades, mind you, with this build. If he doesn't find a decent amount of damage or force a big enough reaction, then there is a very big chance that SOO is just able to snowball the game. But right now, I think Byun has managed to do that. 18 more Lings on the way. And mind you, Byun is not committing any more to the Reapers. And so SOO is down to 25 workers taking a third base. Byun has 28, and he's finishing up his natural. This is, I think that's a massive win for Byun. SOO just goes a little bit too hard on these workers. That's an extra, you know, that's a larva cycle that could have been used for workers. And I think that's just the victory that Byun needed to even out this opening for himself. As Stim is started up, +1 is on the way. And now we're going to look for this to transition into just a 3 racks play here from Byun, with 5 Marines being produced at a time. A factory is just now being added on. This is such an interesting build for this map from Byun. SOO does have pretty good Overlord spread here, making sure that he knows everything that goes around towards these ramps at his base. Says, ooh, Zergling's gonna try and find the surround, but good KD8 charges here from Byun. He's gonna keep the Zerglings away. Oh, Byun! Trying to get the Reapers away is just juggling the KD8 charges. 3 of them are gonna get caught, but 4 might just survive as they're gonna try and make their way back to the base. Another KD8 charge to blow up a lot of the Zerglings, and 1 more is gonna get caught. But mind you, SOO, it was a heavy committal to these Zerglings, and he's now going to try and look for a Baneling bust onto this base. But it's a forward wall as the Banelings are here, but they're going to start to get sniped. KD8 charge to knock the Banelings back as Byun, what? That was gorgeous. That was absolutely beautiful. As the Banelings go down, Byun holds. And oh my... I can't. That was just something else. The combat shield is now on the way. Continued Marine production. Medevacs are going to be joining, and now this kind of pocket base is going to be taken here by Byun. +1 armor is started up to accompany the +1 attack, and this army that Byun is going to be sending across the map is going to be Stim Marines with combat shields with +1 medevac support. It is not going to be an easy army for SOO to hold. He has Banelings, but he does not have Baneling speed. These are slow Banes. And so they're not the most efficient against Stim Marines. Byun especially has the micro to snipe them. As this might get very, very worrying here for SOO. 10 more drones on the way. SOO is not preparing for this. Overlord is going to scout out the fact that these are Marines coming across the map. The Overlord is going to lose his life for it. SOO does the smart move here and actually does bring his Lings up into the main just to make sure he can stop a drop from planting. As that supply block is quite annoying for the Zerg. Has to rebuild 3 more Overlords. Byun is now just going to be able to push down this creep. Scan's going to go down. That's a lot of active creep tumors that are going to fall. A few inactive ones as well as Byun pulling back. Pick up. Gets out most of the Marines. Double Evo Chambers placed down. SOO not going to let another Overlord go down as tank production has begun to, I mean, the 4th and 5th barracks are being added on, and Byun is just preparing to continue to increase his lead right now in this game as he's only down 5 workers against a Zerg, which is just not the situation that SOO wants to be in. Ideally, that worker lead right now is so much higher, But again, I think just the over-making Zerglings and then the failed Baneling Bust attempt just makes this so hard for SOO to be in a comfortable position as Byun is setting up a double-pronged attack. He has a tank here on the right side, a double drop on the left, and he's going to make Byun's life hellish right now, as if you commit all of your Zerglings over to one side, guess what? There's going to be an attack on the other side, and Byun is trying to bait that. He's stimming on it at the same time, boost into the main base, and there's just not enough right now for SOO to split his army, as Byun is going to clean up creep, and now can start to push down that base. And this double drop, let's see how much damage it can get. That's a lot of drones going down here as the extractor is sniped. The spawning pool is going to go down. And Byun has just found so much damage now trying to fight the rest of the army here at the front. The tank is going to fall. But, I mean, Byun, he doesn't care. He's finding so much damage on the other side. The layer is getting low. Byun needs to just focus it down. He's going to do just that. The layer falls. Byun does not lose his whole army on the other side. He picks up. He gets out. And Byun, with the multi-pronged pressure, looks like he has found so much damage in this game, and I don't know if SOO is going to be able to recover. There's the hatchery that has finished up in the pocket expansion, but there's no layer. The spawning pool, there's no way to build units right now for SOO. He can't build an army, and Byun is bringing across everything. 2 more tanks, and I think this might just be the game. Just SOO has no production. He can't build any units. He's getting upgrades, but guess what? Byun is here. He has a whole army. GG, Byun is going to take it.